Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Gulizara, here to bring you newspaper breakdown session courtesy of the KIP CSS network. I hope that this video reaches you in good health and spirits. On the August of this year 2020, Shah Mahmood Qureshi withdrew a lot of ire from the Gulf states when he criticized the OIC on their silence and their incompetence towards addressing the Kashmir issue. In this process, before he criticized them, he also laid out a 4-point method or a methodology to combat India's, you can say, aggression in Kashmir. But the moment that he criticized the OIC for their silence, the Gulf states have markedly withdrawn their support. Not only that, Saudi Arabia has put a freeze on Pakistan's $3.2 billion worth of oil credit and has also demanded part of the partial repayment of the $3 billion loan that Saudi Arabia forwarded Pakistan earlier this year. So, what went wrong and how Pakistan's diplomatic efforts towards getting the Kashmir issue recognized have not borne fruit? We're going to be discussing that in today's lecture and what other paths are open for Pakistan if the Gulf states withdraw their support. Now, the Gulf states have always been very notorious in ignoring the plight of their fellow Muslim brothers. For example, they have been very silent on Palestine. They have also signed signed a trade agreement, and you can say opting towards a more bilateral relationship with Israel, which has you can say which has drawn a lot of anger from the Palestinians and other Muslim states as well. As of right now, only 3 countries in the world, that is China, Malaysia and Turkey, they openly support Pakistan's cause towards Kashmir. अब मसला क्या है कि पाकिस्तान ने जो है अपनी फॉरेन पॉलिसी इंडिया और कश्मीर की तरफ एंड विद अदर मुस्लिम कंट्रीज एज वेल स्पेशली द गल्फ स्टेट्स दे हैव ऑलवेज फॉर्म्ड दैट अराउंड द कश्मीर इशू. लेकिन ये बात कंसर्निंग है कि if they are criticized, this is what they're going to do, and Pakistan as of right now is in a diplomatic debacle. Now, what remains for Pakistan in the path to moving forward? Obviously, we have China. Obviously, we have Turkey. Obviously, we have Central Asian countries, and then we have Russia. The thing is that it is silly of us to assume that Riyadh is going to be letting go of New Delhi anytime soon. In fact, India is considered to be a very important bilateral trading partner with the Gulf states, almost all of the Gulf states, Saudi Arabia included. और वाज़ेह रहे कि इंडिया अगर OIC और गल्फ स्टेट्स जैसी इंपॉर्टेंट और स्ट्रॉन्ग कंट्रीज जैसे they have always been extremely silent on the issues and the concerns that plague Muslim countries. They were silent on the Rohingya massacre. They just issued token condemnation. In the same way, they have always issued token condemnation for the Palestinian conflict. They have always been at the center of any conflict that has plagued the Muslim world. They are playing a proxy war right in the Middle East. They have almost decimated Syria, the Gulf states, and not only that, Saudi Arabia is complicit with using American weapons of war in almost decimating Yemen's population. Saudi Arabia is complicit in war crimes in Yemen, and it was almost silly of us to expect that they would take a stand for the Kashmir issue. No, they won't. Economics always trumps politics, and politics always trumps humanity. That is the mantra that can be applied towards the Gulf states. Now, what remains for Pakistan to move forward? What Pakistan can do as of right now is to capitalize on China's, you can say, continued support, number one, number two, and also make sure that it facilitates China's regional maneuvers. For example, like China has quoted Iran recently a few months back, and they are in the beginning of signing a huge deal worth almost billions of dollars to develop the Chabahar port, to develop railways and infrastructure, and to combat terrorism in that area. The thing is that here Pakistan can use its position as a strategic landmark and make sure that it is useful to the regional designs that China has, number one. Number two, it can also insinuate and integrate itself with Iran as well. Because when China has always lended us unconditional support, लेकिन the continuous debacle of the Kashmir issue has also seen China a bit wary of raising the Kashmir issue at any platform, given that it was snubbed heartily in 2019 when it raised the issue at the UN Security Council closed door meeting. Tisra, what Pakistan can do is that it should quote other countries as well, like Malaysia, Indonesia. Then we have Turkey as well. We already have the support of Turkey, but what we can do is use Turkish support to supplant the Gulf states, because the Gulf states have a history of going towards the better deal. पाकिस्तान में भी मुस्लिम ब्रदर, लेकिन हमें ये भी देखना चाहिए कि सऊदी अरेबिया ने अपने मुस्लिम ब्रदर्स को इन द पास्ट कैसे ट्रीट किया, एंड वी मेक श्योर दैट वी डू नॉट एंड अप ऑन द सेम बोर्ड. सो व्हाट डू? वी कोट चाइना, वी कोट टर्की, वी कोट रशिया एज वेल. अच्छा, व्हाई रशिया नाउ? The growing collusion between US authorities, between the US administration and India has left a space in Russia. ठीक है, सो रशिया विल बी नाउ मोर ओपन टूवर्ड्स कोटिंग पाकिस्तान. ठीक है, not only that, because of CPEC and because of Belt and Road Initiative, there are huge economic concerns and infrastructure and logistic concerns that can be addressed with Pakistan's support. And Russia का जो सबसे बड़ा problem है that it is landlocked, effectively landlocked, because its seas and oceans and its shores are choked with ice nearly 8 months of an year, almost an entire year if you count in Vladivostok, which is an important trade post. So we can provide our good offices to China, okay, and make sure that our foreign policy as of right now does not hinge upon just Kashmir and just the Gulf states, but takes everything into consideration, takes the geopolitical rivalries in this region into consideration, and number two, takes into consideration the Gulf states' duplicacy and silence on Muslim concerns. And effectively pushing ourselves away from the Gulf states might just help us gain more credence with the Kashmir issue. We have been using outdated diplomacy tactics by just counting on the support of China. We need to quote other countries as well for supporting the Kashmir issue. Now, what lesson do we take away from this diplomatic debacle? Is that do not bite the hand that feeds you, even if it is deserved. The Gulf states have been silent for too long, and they will remain silent for too long. They are no ones. Basically, they are just, you can say, more oriented towards where the money is coming from. They have ignored these atrocities that are happening in their own backyard, and they are committing atrocities within their own backyard. So it seems kind of foolish and idiotic, I would say, for us to assume that the Gulf states would be lending us support just based on the fact that they are Muslim by. No, that's not going to happen. And the very fact that this honest criticism has hit home so much that the Chief of Army Staff, he himself wasn't entertained by Mohammed bin Salman. And hence, as a result, a flying visit was paid by Shah Mahmood Qureshi Saab late in August to boost more diplomatic ties with China. Okay? So, in conclusion, I would like to say that the policy around Kashmir that we have been using by relying on a few countries, by relying on China to raise the issue, by relying on the Gulf states to raise the issue, they have not proved fruitful at all. And it was almost, you can say, self-evident when last year, or when in the beginning of this year, and the meeting that was being conducted in Kuala Lumpur, we Pakistanis buckled under Saudi pressure and we did not attend that meeting that was to be the landmark meeting and was actually the brainchild of Prime Minister Imran Khan. उस मीटिंग में हमें जाने नहीं दिया गया because of diplomatic pressure from Saudi Arabia. That meeting was to challenge the hegemony of the OIC, basically the silent hegemony of the OIC. And the Gulf states, you can say, a fake image of, you can say, of a purveyor of Islamic rights in the world. वहाँ से हमें इंडिकेशन हो जानी चाहिए थी कि they are not our friends, that they are they would prefer to have India more than us, because we do not have that much of a trade potential. So in conclusion, I would like to say that Pakistan's foreign policy regarding Kashmir needs an overhaul. Number one. Number two, we need to stop relying on just China. We need to quote other countries as well. Number three, our foreign policy needs to move away from integrating and needs to move towards more bilateral relationships with other Muslim majority countries, and to, I would say, to reignite the plan for an other Muslim brotherhood that challenges the hollow might of the OIC. So this is all for today. I hope that this has been enlightening for you. Stay safe. Allah Hafiz.